hard to follow up on. Oh, my eyelids look pink, like really pink. It's hard to follow up on Lalo's goodbye coffee scope. He's saying goodbye and I'm saying hello. Good morning, Carol. Adam, I'm on Haps. It's nice over here. Welcome, guys. Not only am I on Haps, we've started a new book. Andrew's here. It only says one person's in here. Is that Andrew? Are they not counting? Did I do any of the Walk of Shame scopes? No, I don't think I remember that. I was hearing him talk about it, and I just don't remember it. I don't remember that. This morning, first, can I say that I did in fact run yesterday? New book. Who dis? I ran yesterday, and I'm really sore, as expected today. Just like, you know, you're commenting through Periscope, so it counts. I've already started this book on the thing about implementing new programs, yes, it was a good one. We did a walk down memory lane, Carol. The thing about implementing new things is you do have to like have some crossover. I mean, you don't have to, but it makes sense to. And the plan was to start HAPS a long time ago, but I just couldn't handle it. It wasn't, you know, at that level, at this level yet, for sure. Also, I was trying to, every time I tried to actually get into the app, it wouldn't let me. So going to HAPS is okay. HAPS has a lot of potential, don't they? And excuse me, my nose is. Gotta get one of my million little hankies. Allergies, I guess. I'm sorry. I hate that. I hate this. It doesn't normally happen. I'm not usually a allergy sufferer. But all the blossoms and stuff, how are you guys dealing with it? Yesterday was so beautiful. I have to say, Mahmoud, I'm in HAPS. This week I'm HAPS Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I think I'll probably just continue to do that pattern. And then last night we tried Twitter Live. And I don't know that we're missing out on Twitter Live too much. What do you guys think? That was in last night. What is the consensus? I suffer in other ways for sure. I think what it is, yes, local celebrity. What it is I have moved back here after being away for a few years. So it hits different, as the children say. Yes, goodbye Periscope. Hello, brand new everything. Someone in your scope, Lalo, said there's so many currencies. And I'm kind of like mentally spinning out about that. Like, oh my God, yes, aren't there? Like, we're in such a new new world regarding that, regarding value and worth. And I mean, that's what you said. Daniel sent me a message this morning with a screenshot, and it looked fine on his end. So, but then whenever I watched replay, it did look pretty bad, pretty glitchy and pixelated. I hope I'm coming in clear to you now. That might be a newsletter topic for me to write about, the age of. And don't you love how I write about shit that I have no idea what? I'm no expert at all about it, but that doesn't stop me. No, it's not actually. I wouldn't agree with that at all. It's not mostly crypto. From what I understand, which is bare bones, I don't understand a whole lot about crypto. But I mean, it's blockchain, right? And I don't want to lead you astray, so please research. Do your own research, because I'm an elder millennial. The eldest millennial. I'm the oldest millennial. But with the blockchain, and it's been explained to me so many different times, and I feel like I still don't understand it really. But it's encrypted such that it removes. It's like this unique thing. It's like this very unique thing, where our currency is the dollar is a fiat based, right? We basically print money off of pure ideas. I think feelings. It's a feeling based currency. It really is. People, it's based off of. I mean, some expert could say, hey, the price of this is going to change, and so value changes, and it's like this weird domino effect. Also, interest rates. Anyway, money doesn't physically exist. Oh, that's what you're saying. Yeah, a lot of it doesn't physically exist, and I don't know what percentage the currency that we have that's actually printed. Somebody could look that up. Money. Oh my gosh. I find it really fascinating to think about. But just the idea that we have some ingenious or some, like, we can bootstrap currency right now. Just that thought. Like, you can make a Dogecoin. You can go make a Bitcoin company. Like, if you have the knowledge on how to do the blockchain technology, you can make your own currency. And it's weird because we're like creating value, but it's not weird because we always have been able to create value. And if you flip the narrative, like, the people who use the currency is who creates it. I think so. I mean, it just literally costs too much to print pennies. Like, it costs more to make pennies than pennies are actually worth. We still do it. I have a lot of reservations about crypto I mean, it's a laundry list of reservations, not the least of which is I live in a rural area and people still struggle to have internet. So I don't see how that can be how it can be like a ubiquitous thing if there's plenty of people in the world just in my local area here that don't have internet or really struggle with it, like satellites and things. And like it's one of those situations where I think where people are like we have the tech, we have the technology, it's blowing up right now, especially right now with the NFTs. Oh my gosh, who wants to call in and talk about NFTs? Add guests, invite all. How do I do that? Who wants to join and talk about NFTs and what they are? And would you ever buy one? Would you ever buy a piece of artwork that's purely digital? I think this is one of those things like may potentially be a missed opportunity for me because I don't I'm not the a type of person that would I don't know, buy a piece of digital artwork and then go enjoy it on a computer or a tablet. Like I much rather prefer a physical object hanging on the wall or on a pedestal or something I can see and like occupy the same physical space with. You guys are quiet. That's fine. We'll start our Siddhartha book or continue with it. Yeah, yes, Andrew, I feel like that's me. What do you mean not like you can do an NFT with physical stuff? See, I'm so ignorant about it. And it's making me nervous. I have a friend who's kind of he's a businessman. He has a 7-figure business. And his husband has like a multi 7-figure, maybe an 8-figure business. And he was all texting me like, you should put your art as NFTs. I think you need to do this. And so I'm like, oh my gosh, he's telling me this. So I should. But like, at the same time, it feels a bit not real to me. I don't know how to explain it. Also, I think crypto in general, has issues with being environmentally like isn't it bad for the environment? I don't know what the comparison is. Bad for the environment for like hard money, like physical cash money. But it takes a lot to make the blockchains, and like I want them to be wind powered or solar powered or something. Wave powered. Let's harness the power of the ocean and make money with it. Sounds like a good idea. You guys ready to read this? You guys are quiet. Yeah, yes. And the idea of supporting supporting digital art, like this. Like I'm in a digital space right here, and if it, like, I can see paying me with some kind of digital currency, that makes sense to me. Also, if play video games where it's you're already in this digital space, like you're occupying this world. Movies, things. Can you run a farm on crypto? I'm trying to. Can you feed your cattle? I don't know. I'm having a hard time. It doesn't sync up. And also, part of the cool thing about currency is like bartering too. I mean, bartering is a way to, is a currency, is like a mode of exchange, exchanging goods and value. Anyway, clearly, basically my point is, someone said that in Laloscope, and now I'm mentally like, oh my god. Which I am all the time anyway about crypto, because it's so cryptic. With the Samanas, now to recap, our beloved Siddhartha has decided he's going to become an ascetic, and he's a prince, he's a Brahmin, he's a like royal whatever, and he's decided to give it up for the van life with Govinda. Only I guess it would be like the sandal life, because they don't have vans. With the Samanas. Thank you for laughing, Andrew. I'm not talking to myself. People are here and they get it. They're laughing, right? With the Samanas. On the evening of that day, they overtook the Samanas and requested their company and allegiance. They were accepted. Hey, Arturo, my friend, Okan, what app are you coming in from? Is this Twitch? Are you my first Twitch viewer? Oh my god. Welcome. Well, you're not first, because Dr. X went on Twitch experimentally. Anyway, you're just in time, Arturo. We've just now started chapter 2. I love this song. Siddhartha gave his clothes to a poor Brahmin on the road and only retained his loincloth and earth-colored unstitched cloak. He only ate once a day and never cooked food. He fasted 14 days. Okay, he only ate once a day and never cooked food. That would mean he's a raw vegan. YouTube. Oh, YouTube, wonderful. I didn't realize you could comment. Wow, how exciting. He's a raw vegan, 1 meal a day raw vegan at this point, that doesn't believe in the tyranny of fast fashion. The flesh disappeared from his legs and cheeks. Strange dreams were reflected in his enlarged eyes. The nail grew long on his thin fingers, and a dry, bristly beard appeared on his chin. His glance became icy when he encountered women. His lips curled with contempt when he passed through a town of well-dressed people. He saw businessmen trading, princes going to the hunt, mourners weeping over their dead, prostitutes offering themselves, doctors attending the sick, priests deciding the day for sowing, lovers making love, mothers soothing their children, and all, okay, and all were not worth a passing glance. Everything lied, stank of lies. They were all illusions of sense, happiness, and beauty. Have you read it, Arturo? All were doomed to decay. The world tasted bitter. Life was pain. Siddhartha had one single goal, to become empty of thirst, desire, dreams, pleasure, and sorrow, to let the self die with capital S. No longer to be self, to experience the peace of an emptied heart, to experience pure thought. That was his goal. When all the self was conquered and dead, when all passions and desires were silent, then the last must awaken, the innermost of being that is no longer self, the great secret. Silently, Siddhartha stood in the fierce sun's rays, filled with pain. Yay! Welcome! Welcome to the dark side, Lalo. Everybody follow Lalo on Haps. That's in here. I'm kicking an amp with my leg. I really need to move this thing. Yep, we're applying it. We're applying the heat. Isn't it great? I never read it until Andrew sent it to me a few years ago, a couple years ago. When did I read it, Andrew? It's a good book. It's a really good book, and I'm happy, so happy to read it to you. And that's what I'm doing here, for those of you who don't understand. I'm reading to you. And we're talking about 2 years. We're talking about life. Suddenly Siddhartha stood in the fierce sun's rays, filled with pain and thirst, and stood until he no longer felt pain and thirst. Silently, he stood in the rain, water dripping from his hair onto his freezing shoulders, onto his freezing hips and legs, and the ascetic stood until his shoulders and legs no longer froze, till they were silent, till they were still. Silently, he crouched among the thorns. Blood dripped from his smarting skin. Ulcers formed, and Siddhartha remained stiff, motionless, till no more blood flowed, till there was no more pricking, no more smarting. Siddhartha sat upright and learned to save his breath, to manage with little breathing, to hold his breath. He learned while breathing in to quiet his heartbeat, learned to lessen his heartbeats until they were few and hardly any more. Instructed by the eldest of the samanas, Siddhartha practiced self-denial. Yay, Arturo's in here. Follow Arturo, guys. We're coming back. Our book club's coming back. We're gonna pull through. Okay, Siddhartha practiced self-denial and meditation according to the samana rules. A heron flew over the bamboo wood, and Siddhartha took the heron into his soul. Flew over forests and mountains, became a heron, ate fishes, suffered heron hunger, used heron language, died a heron's death. A dead jackal lay on the sandy shore, and Siddhartha's soul slipped into its corpse. He became a dead jackal, lay on the shore, swelled, stank, decayed, was dismembered by hyenas, was picked at by vultures, became a skeleton, became dust, mingled with the atmosphere. And Siddhartha's soul returned, died, decayed, turned into dust, experienced the troubled course of the life cycle. He waited with new thirst, like a hunger at the chasm where the life cycle ends, where there is no end to causes, where painless eternity begins. He killed his senses. He killed his memory. He slipped out of his self in 1,000 different forms. He was animal, carcass, stone, wood, water, and each time he reawakened. The sun or moon shone. He was again self, swung into the life cycle, felt thirst, conquered thirst, felt new thirst. Whoa. What do you guys think? Pretty psychedelic. I'm going to continue, but any thoughts so far? Can you follow that? Can you have you ever had a transcendental experience such as the one just described? Siddhartha learned a great deal from the Samanas. He learned many ways of losing the self. He traveled along the path of self-denial through pain, through voluntary suffering and conquering of pain, through hunger, thirst, and fatigue. He traveled the way of self-denial through meditation, through the emptying of the mind of all images. Along these and other paths did he learn to travel. He lost his self 1,000 times, and for days on end he dwelt in non-being. But although the paths took him away from self, in the end, they always led back to it. Although Siddhartha fled from the self 1,000 times, dwelt in nothing, dwelt in animal and stone, the return was inevitable. The hour was inevitable when he would again find himself in sunshine or in moonlight, in shadow or in rain, and was again self, and Siddhartha again felt the torment of the onerous life cycle. There's I want to say, I just want to shout, life is pain, from, what's the movie? Princess Bride. What do you think, Govinda? Siddhartha asked at the beginning of one of these expeditions. Oh, I'm sorry. I skipped a whole paragraph. At his side lived Govinda, his shadow. He traveled along the same path, made the same endeavors. They rarely conversed with each other apart from the necessities of their service and practices. Sometimes they went together through the villages in order to beg food for themselves and their teachers. What do you think, Govinda? Sounds a bit like a pyramid scheme, begging for his teachers, but hey. Siddhartha asked at the beginning of one of these expeditions, do you think we are any further? Have we reached our goal? Govinda replied, we have learned and we are still learning. You will become a great samana, Siddhartha. You have learned each exercise quickly. The old samanas have often appraised you. Someday you will be a holy man, Siddhartha. Siddhartha said, it does not appear so to me, my friend. What I have so far learned from the samanas, I could have learned more quickly and easily in every inn, in a prostitute's quarter, amongst the carriers and dice players. Govinda said, Siddhartha is joking. How could you have learned meditation, holding of the breath, and insensibility toward hunger and pain with those wretches? And Siddhartha said softly, as if speaking to himself, what is meditation? What is abandonment of the body? What is fasting? What is the holding of breath? It is a flight from the self. It is a temporary escape from the torment of self. It is a temporary palliative against the pain and folly of life. The driver of oxen makes this same flight, takes his temporary drug when he drinks a few bowls of rice wine or coconut milk in the inn. He then no longer feels his self, no longer feels the pain of life. He then experiences temporary escape, falling asleep over his bowl of rice wine. He finds what Siddhartha and Govinda find when they escape from their bodies by long exercises and dwell in the non-self. So he's almost saying, I could have just become an addict, right? Could just become a... In fact, I think if you're not eating, and it is probably some kind of addiction, maybe. Govinda said, you speak thus, my friend, And yet, you know that Siddhartha is no driver of oxen and a Samana is no drunkard. The drinker does indeed find escape. He does indeed find a short respite and rest. But he returns from the illusion and finds everything as it was before. He has not grown wiser. He has not gained knowledge. He's not climbed any higher. Siddhartha answered with a smile on his face. I do not know. I have never been a drunkard, but that I, Siddhartha, only find a short respite in my exercises and meditation, and am as remote from wisdom, from salvation, as a child in the womb. That, Govinda, I do know. On another occasion, when Siddhartha left the wood with Govinda in order to beg for food for their brothers and teachers, Siddhartha began to speak and said, Well, Govinda, are we on the right road? Are we gaining knowledge? Are we approaching salvation? Or are we perhaps going in circles when we thought to escape from the cycle? Govinda said, We have learned much, Siddhartha. There still remains much to learn. We are not going in circles. We're going upwards. The path is a spiral. We have already climbed many steps. Good old Govinda. Siddhartha replied, How old do you think is our oldest Samana, our worthy teacher? Govinda said, I think the eldest would be about 60 years old. And Siddhartha said, He is 60 years old and has not attained nirvana. He will be 70 and 80 years old, and you and I, we shall grow as old as he and do exercises and fast and meditate, but we will not attain nirvana. Neither he nor we. Govinda, I believe that amongst all the samanas, probably not even one will attain nirvana. We find consolations, we learn tricks with which we deceive ourselves, but the essential thing, the way, we do not find. The critical path. Do not utter such dreadful words, Siddhartha, said Govinda. How could it be that amongst so many learned men, amongst so many Brahmins, amongst so many austere and worthy Samanas, amongst so many seekers, so many devoted to the inner life, so many holy men, none will find the right way? Siddhartha, however, said in a voice which contained as much grief as mockery, in a soft, somewhat sad, somewhat jesting voice, Soon, Govinda, your friend will leave the path of the Samanas, along which he has traveled with you so long. I suffer thirst, Govinda, and on this long Samana path my thirst has not grown less. I have always thirsted for knowledge. I have always been full of questions. Year after year I have questioned the Brahmins. Year after year I have questioned the holy Vedas. Perhaps, Govinda, it would have been equally good, equally clever and holy if I had questioned the rhinoceros or the chimpanzee. I have spent a long time and have not yet finished in order to learn this, Govinda, that one can learn nothing. There is, so I believe, in the essence of everything, something that we cannot call learning. There is, my friend, only a knowledge that is everywhere. That is Atman. That is in me and you and every creature, and I'm beginning to believe that this knowledge has no worse enemy than the man of knowledge, than learning. Mic drop. Thereupon, you don't hear that anymore, do you? Is anyone still in here? Thereupon, Govinda stood still on the path, raised his hands and said, Siddhartha, do not distress your friend with such talk. Truly, your words trouble me. Think. You love it. Truly, your words trouble me. Think, what meaning would our holy prayers have? The venerableness of the Brahmins, the holiness of the Samanas. If, as you say, there is no learning, Siddhartha, what would become of everything? What would be holy on earth? What would be precious and sacred? Govinda murmured a verse to himself, a verse from one of the Upanishads. He whose reflective pure spirit sinks into Atman knows bliss inexpressible through words. Yeah. Siddhartha was silent. Pause. Who's read the Upanishads? I read it maybe like a year ago. Yeah, highly recommend. I mean, there's several Upanishads, but there's one, the Upanishads collection translated into English. Siddhartha was silent. He dwelt long on the words which Govinda had uttered. Yes, he thought, standing with bowed head, what remains from all that seems holy to us? What remains? What is preserved? And he shook his head. Once, when both youths had lived with the Samanas about 3 years and shared their practices, they heard from many sources a rumor, a report. Someone had appeared called Gautama, the illustrious, the Buddha. He conquered in himself the sorrows of the world and had brought to a standstill the cycle of rebirth. He wandered through the country preaching, surrounded by disciples, having no possessions, homeless, without a wife, wearing the yellow cloak of an ascetic, but with lofty brow, a holy man. And Brahmins and princes bowed before him and became his pupils. This report, this rumor, this tale was heard and spread here and there. The Brahmins talked about it in the town, the Samanas in the forest. The name of Gautama, the Buddha, continually reached the ears of the young men, spoken of well and ill, in praise and in scorn. Just as when a country is ravaged with the plague and a rumor arises that there is a man, a wise man, a learned man, whose words and breath are sufficient to heal the afflicted, and as the report travels across the country and everyone speaks about it, many believe and many doubt it. Many, however, immediately go on their way to seek the wise man, the benefactor. In such a manner did that rumor, that happy report of Gautama the Buddha, the wise man from the race of Sakya, travel through the country. He possessed great knowledge. He possessed great knowledge, said the believers. He remembered his former lives. He had attained nirvana and never returned on the cycle. He plunged more into the troubled stream of forms. Many wonderful and incredible things were reported about him. He had performed wonders, had conquered the devil, had spoken with the gods. His enemies and doubters, however, said that this Gautama was an idle fraud. He passed his days in high living, scorned the sacrifices, was unlearned, and knew neither practices nor mortification of the flesh. Chris, I have to get, thank you so much, but I have to get rid of my super hearts too. I don't know who to give them to. But that's my thing I'm going to try to do today at some point if I remember, or I could just leave them for Periscope. I imagine that I guess it would be going to Twitter, though. It wouldn't be going to the people who run Periscope. But Savior, I appreciate the thought, Chris, but rather than that, download Haps and come find me on Haps. The rumors of the Buddha sounded attractive. There was magic in these reports. The world was sick, life was difficult, and here there seemed new hope. Here there seemed to be a message, comforting, mild, full of promises. Everywhere there were rumors about the Buddha. Young men all over India listened, felt a longing and a hope. And among the Brahmin sons in the towns and villages, good morning, Dr. X. Among the Brahmins' sons in the towns and villages, every pilgrim and stranger was welcome if he brought news of him, the illustrious, the Sakya Muni. It's so interesting to, obviously, Hermann Hesse wasn't alive then, but the whole statement that the world was sick. The world was sick back when Siddhartha was alive, the world was sick. I think this is it's important to just realize that the world is, And what we think about the world is what changes. It's always been sick. The world has always been sick. It probably always will be, right? The rumors reached the Samanas in the forest, and Siddhartha and Govinda, a little at a time, every little item heavy with hope, heavy with doubt. They spoke little about it, as the eldest Samana was no friend of this rumor. He had heard that this alleged Buddha had formerly been an ascetic and had lived in the woods and then turned to high living and the pleasures of the world, and he held no brief for this Gautama. It's this is such a human reaction behavior, right? Like, yeah, join our group, do what we do, be part of us, be part of it, be part of our little sect, clan, what have you, our little group. And then the minute you say, I'm sorry, that's not working, it's not working out for me, like people have to people turn on you, like as if it's as if it's a personal attack, because they're so invested in and self-identified with their actions and what they're doing. And it's wild to think about that the ascetics who've given up literally everything, even freaking eating, are now going to be like, oh, you're going to leave us, you're going to go seek out this Gautama Buddha, like, fine then. Because guess what? They're attached to it. They're attached to the identity that they've built up around themselves, that they're ascetics. Siddhartha, Govinda once said to his friend, today I was in the village, and a Brahmin invited me to enter his house, and the house was a Brahmin's son from Magadha. He had seen the Buddha with his own eyes and heard him preach. Truly, I was filled with longing, and I thought, I wish that both Siddhartha and I may live to see the day when we can hear the teachings from the lips of the Perfect One. My friend, shall we not also go hither and best the teaching, and hear the teachings from the lips of the Buddha? Siddhartha said, I always thought that Govinda would remain with the Samanas. I always believed it was his goal to be 60 and 70 years old and still practice the arts and exercises which the Samanas teach. But how little did I know, Govinda? How little did I know what was in his heart? Now, my dear friend, you wish to strike a new path and go hear the Buddha's teachings. Govinda's all about he is like the Samwise to Siddhartha's Frodo. Siddhartha's Frodo, and he's the Samwise Gamgee. Yes. He wants what's best for Siddhartha. He doesn't give a shit about the Samanas. Govinda said, it gives you pleasure to mock me, no matter if you do, Siddhartha. Do you not also feel a longing, a desire to hear this teaching? And did you not once say to me, I will not travel the path of the Samanas much longer? Then Siddhartha laughed in such a way that his voice expressed a shade of sorrow and a shade of mockery, and he said, you have spoken well, Govinda. You've remembered well, but you must also remember what else I told you, that I have become distrustful of teachings and learning, and I have little faith in words that come from teachers. But very well, my friend, I'm ready to hear that the new teaching, although I believe in my heart, I'm ready to hear that new teaching. Although I believe in my heart that we have already tasted the best fruit of it. Govinda replied, I'm delighted you are agreed, but tell me, how can the teachings of Gautama disclose to us its most precious fruit before we've even heard him? Siddhartha said, "Let us enjoy this fruit and await further ones, Govinda. This fruit, for which we are already indebted to Gautama, consists in the fact that he has enticed us away from the samanas. Whether they are still other and better fruits, let us patiently wait and see." On the same day, Siddhartha, what a awesome way to live already. You know, he still hasn't reached enlightenment, but he's already noticing like the bullshit. And he's like, just being able to notice the bullshit is gift enough in itself. But if there's more, then we're here for it, right? On the same day, Siddhartha informed the eldest Samana of his decision to leave. He told the old man with the politeness and modesty fitting to young men and students. But the old man was angry that both young men wished to leave him, and he raised his voice and scolded him strongly. I mean, who's going to go beg for bowls of rice for him? Govinda was taken aback, but Siddhartha put his lips to Govinda's ear and whispered, "Now I will show the old man what I've learned, that I've learned something from him." He stood near the samana, his mind intent. He looked into the old man's eyes and held him with his look, hypnotized him, made him mute, conquered his will, commanded him silently to do as he wished. The old man became silent. His eyes glazed, his will crippled, his arms hung down. He was powerless under Siddhartha's spell. Siddhartha's thoughts conquered those of the samana. He had to perform what they commanded, and so the old man bowed several times, gave his blessing, and stammered his wishes for a good journey. The young men thanked him for his good wishes, returned his bow, and departed. On the way, Govinda said, "Siddhartha, you have learned more from the samanas than I was aware. It is difficult, very difficult, to hypnotize an old samana. In truth, if you had stayed there, you would have soon learned how to walk on water." "I have no desire to walk on water," said Siddhartha. "Let the old samanas satisfy themselves with such arts." And that is our chapter 2. Thoughts, reflections. Chris, welcome. Welcome, Chris. We've just finished our reading for today. Matthew, are you on Haps? Come over to Haps. Thank you. Thank you, Chris. I'm enjoying the new look and the new layout. Thank you for subscribing. I'm going to try and follow back and find Kipila Vastu. What is this? Tell me what this is, Dr. X. But we can go find whatever you want. It's just going to be harder now. Harder. Malik. Oh, where this takes place? That would be wonderful. I do want to go to India. That's wonderful, Chris. And I never really wanted to go to India until recently reading the Bhagavad Gita. You'll be on live and Twitch and Instagram. Please follow me on Twitch at folktale_Jess there. I'm streaming there too via Haps. Actually, next week I think we're gonna experiment on Tuesdays and Thursdays and actually do a legitimate Twitch. I'll have to get remedial instruction from Dr. X and Gabe and folks. So yeah, let's go to India. Oh my goodness, thank you. High five. I'm so shocked and flattered when I get these awards. This is not common on Periscope. My Twitch is folktale_Jess. So it's folktale Jess, but there's an underscore between them. I have the other folktale Jess too, but I linked it to an email I no longer have, so I can't get into the account. Anyway, yes, thanks so much for typing that out. Why didn't I type that? And this is why I'm not a superstar, so I don't think about this stuff. I guess that's it. Thanks for the sub. Is that how you, is that what you, the lingo? Tomorrow I won't be here on Haps. I'll be on Twitter Live. So Matthew, if you want, actually, I'm probably going to do it in the evening, so you'll probably be asleep or otherwise occupied. He's saying hi from Twitch. Awesome. I have to log in again. It's like I log in once every weeks pass. Oh, I need his photo. Yeah, see? Constructive criticism. Thank you. Yes, I'm going to go log in and upload a video, a photo of myself. The same old one, the same old tired one that I've been using for like 5 years. I need an update because I look not like that. When you see me on the day-to-day, I don't look like that. Anyway, maybe later this year I'll do it. Yes, I will follow you back, Matthew. When I get on there, and as soon as I get off here, I'll follow back people who followed me. Thanks for coming in, everybody. I will see you soon.